depot near Langerig. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Chiltern Railways say Storm Goretti is impacting journeys. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
Well, you're absolutely right. Spot on. I couldn't help feeling that perhaps it was actually just a joke, and they were going to come back in 2 years' time and say, we took you all in. It was, in fact, a joke. Now we're going to produce something more serious, because it was absolutely hilarious and ridiculous. Commercial suicide, I described it as.
Well, the individual behind it is no more. What would you like to see from the brand? Presumably not people with asymmetric haircuts in pink dresses with sledgehammers doing precisely zero to do with cars.
Well, again, absolutely, you're spot on. I mean, it's just totally unrelated to cars at all. It wasn't even a car in the advert. Jaguar was built on style, and that brought passion for cars. That's what made them different. I remember many years ago, a Jaguar executive in the States saying to me, people say, I like my Mercedes, but I love my Jaguar. It's all about passion. Style engendered that. That's what we've got to have. We need to see a proper, more traditional, stylish, real Jaguar that can build on the brand and the heritage of the past.
OK, Philip Paulson, I'm going to put you on the spot now. If you're in charge of the next Jaguar advert, what would it look like?
As diametrically opposite and different as it possibly could be from what they produced. I suppose, I mean, I live a little in the past, I admit, although I also think I'm hopefully realistic about the current situation and everything, the present. But I'd like to see the heritage shown. Jaguar were not afraid to talk in the past about their heritage, the Le Mans wins back in the 50s, the E-Type in the 60s. This is what added excitement and luster to the brand.
GB News, the People's Channel.
All too often, people will be sitting at home watching a press conference live, and they'll hear loads of questions being asked, and they'll be thinking, that's not my question. That's not my concern.
We don't care whose feathers we ruffle. We ask the questions that you want answering.
You're all standing on the street protesting and want to have an open discussion.
My name is Patrick Christie's. I do a show for GB News in the UK. Is it possible to talk to you quickly?
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, this is the best view ever of Whitehall, looking out across all the tractor drivers of England who've come together to make their point.
Hello, so as you can see, I'm here in Westminster as the protest begins.
Yes, I'm very much in the thick of it.
Look, we're challenging narratives here at GB News, and that's what sets us apart.
Good morning, it's 9:30 a.m. on Friday the 9th of January. We are live across the United Kingdom. This is Britain's Newsroom with Alex Armstrong and Sophie Reaper.
Storm Goretti smashes Britain with snow, ice and 100 miles per hour winds, leaving tens of thousands without power and causing chaos on the roads. We have reporters nationwide.
Well, the Midlands is warning of the worst snow in a decade, whilst here in Wales, we've woken up to 25 centimetres of snow, causing widespread travel chaos across the country. Today, I'll have the latest.
And are we about to see the 10th U-turn from Labour? This time, it's over tax hikes on pubs. Well, cheers to that, or too little too late.
Yes, landlords are breathing a sigh of relief with Rachel Reeves promising to bail out pubs. But questions are now being asked about the Chancellor's political ingenuity. Why didn't she see the chaos coming?
That is why we've made these defence commitments. We are living in a more volatile world. I think everybody in the country accepts that.
A top defence chief warns that Britain's army faces a £28 billion funding gap. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister pledges to deploy troops to Ukraine for a peacekeeping deal.
This is something they brought on themselves. You have seen many, many years of a regime in Iran that ignored the well-being of their own people.
Unrest in Iran. A nationwide internet blackout follows almost 2 weeks of anti-government protests. The principal deputy spokesman for the Department of State spoke to The Late Show Live. Well, look, the weather is pretty bad across the country, Sophie. How did you get here today? Were you all right getting in?
I actually travelled down from the northwest last night. I will say the roads weren't great, but I just sometimes think it's all built up. If you were Will Godley is, fair enough. That 25 centimetres of snow is quite a lot to contend with. But if you've got, a smattering of snow and the kids are off school and you're off work, I think that's a bit much.
Yeah, listen, the whole country is, we're seeing headlines, Britain shuts down. This is mental, we go nuts. This happens every year, don't we get a storm every year? Don't we get a bit of snow every year? Yeah, and all of a sudden now the kids have got to be off from school, you've got to look after them, you can't go to work. It's completely bonkers. Russia can operate in minus 20 degrees and we got literally it's just 0 degrees out there and the whole country stopped.
Get the grit out, move on.
I think so too, Sophie. What do you think at home? gbnews.com/your say. But first we're going to get your 60-second news updates with Tatiana Sanchez.
Of thousands of Britons across the country facing widespread power cuts, travel disruption and school closures. The government's decision to backtrack and provide new financial support for pubs is a sign of its strength and confidence, a senior Labour figure has claimed. Anna Turley, chairwoman of the Labour Party, said she doesn't buy this as a U-turn, adding this is actually about listening. Iranian state media has claimed terrorist agents from the US and Israel have set fires and sparked violence on the streets. Iran's government initiated a nationwide internet blackout last night, which extended into today, according to internet monitoring group NetBlocks. And those are the latest headlines. For now, more in half an hour.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
A very good morning to you and welcome. This is Britain's Newsroom, live across the United Kingdom on GB News with Alex Armstrong and me, Sophie Reaper.
What a treat. It's so lovely to have you here today.
Oh, stop.
It is. It's lovely. We got her out of the field and we've put it here in the studio.
Exactly.
It is very warm in the studio, unlike lots of our brilliant reporters, of course, today, who are out and about across Britain reporting live. We've got a massive weather alert. Many of you will be waking up to snow this morning after Storm Goretti left a trail. So-called a trail of destruction. I don't know if it's a trail of destruction overnight, but there we go. That's what we're calling it.
Well, we're seeing some live pictures on screen now because an amber alert was in place this morning for large parts of Wales, the Midlands and Yorkshire. The pictures you're seeing, though, are Brighton and Hove live this morning. Looks a bit tempestuous, but nothing we don't see in the northwest fairly regularly.
It's a normal day. But you could go for a dip in that. I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I don't.
I wouldn't recommend it. With thousands of homes are losing power, many schools and offices are remaining shut, of course, today. I was already asked you how the journey was, and you got in all right last night, though.
I did, yeah. I mean, it wasn't very nice on the M1, I have to say, but it had been gritted, there wasn't really any ice, a little bit of aquaplaning, but I think if you've got a driving licence and you're fairly competent, you just crack on, don't you? I mean,
trains are shut down though, aren't they? Completely bonkers. How does this country ever make any money? I don't know. I really, really don't know. But listen, let's go to GB News national reporter Will Godley. He's joining us live. Will, it's very snowy where you are. Good morning. Tell us more.
Well, Alex, Sophie, good morning to you. Certainly a lot of snow here. Most of it fell last night, though, and certainly, as you were saying, maybe not difficult on the roads for you, but when we were driving, making our way here, certainly very difficult for us, as snow was relentlessly coming down when we were on the motorway. The speeds of motorways dropping to around 20 miles an hour or so as cars were crawling along, battling through the thick snow to try and drive through the Midlands into Wales. And when we were driving on the A roads and not these motorways, we were finding many of the roads were ungritted and, of course, having very big difficulties for cars like us getting stuck in the snow. And we were relying on kind members of the Welsh community helping us to push us on our way to get to where we are today. But even having said that, last night we had to make the last mile on foot to get to the hotel today, which surprised the hotel owner this morning. Take a look.
I'm definitely stranded, won't be able to get the car over the brow of the hill, so we're going to be staying here all day. And once the tractors go and compact the ice right down, it becomes very icy and slippery, so no, the car will be staying, and so will I will be as well.
When do you think this might all be clear? When do you think the snow will be cleared here?
Well, it is melting very quickly. You can hear the water falling off the trees, so you don't know. I mean, maybe by this evening, a lot of it will have gone. It'll all be compacted on the road, so I don't really know. But then, if it gets really cold overnight, then it'll all freeze, and that'll be another problem. And of course, once it melts, then the river, which runs along the side here, will probably rise up quite a bit. So there's ongoing problems, flooding and that sort of thing once it melts away.
Right, so he's a Boltonian.
Well, perhaps good news for us with our car stranded, that perhaps we might be able to get back on the move later on. But as you can see here in Wales, some branches have come down. Similar scenes in Cornwall, where people in Cornwall told today not to drive at all on the roads as authorities work to clear the roads of fallen trees. As there they experienced 100-mile-an-hour winds, record-breaking winds there. And all of this scene here in Wales, of course, a very snowy scene, no doubt causing widespread travel disruption, not just on the roads, but on the train lines as well, with many train operators today telling people not to travel.
Ask you, have you thought yet about how you're going to make it back home? Obviously, you're in Wales for us this morning, and it looks like you might struggle. Have you thought about that yet?
Well, Sophie, yeah, that's been weighing on our mind for the last few hours since we arrived here at 11 o'clock last night. Our car is about a mile down the hill at the bottom of this lane, but between us and that, there's 25 centimetres of thick snow that we had to wade through last night. This morning, we have seen a few 4x4 vehicles manage to break through this snow and compact it down a little bit. So we're hoping by the time we make the journey down to the car that potentially the road might be a little bit clearer. If not, we've been told there's a farmer who has a tractor who might be able to help. But at the moment, our fingers are very much crossed.
Will Godley, thank you very much for reporting live in the wilderness there. Will, a pleasure to see you. Stay warm. Now listen, breaking news, Kensington Palace have just released a video to mark the Princess of Wales' 44th birthday. Our GBNews royal correspondent Cameron Walker is here with us now. Cameron, tell us more.
Yeah, deeply personal message from the Princess of Wales. Of course, it's 2 years this January that the Princess went into hospital for her major abdominal surgery where cancer was discovered. And then 1 year since she announced she was in remission. And the Princess has released a short statement, a written statement, first of all, before we play the video. She says, the Mother Nature series, she released a kind of Mother Nature series, an instalment of how nature's kind of helped her heal and getting back to nature, has been a deeply personal, creative reflection on how nature has helped me heal. But it is also a story about the power of nature and creativity and collective healing. There is so much we can learn from Mother Nature as we look to build a happier, healthier world. Let's hear from the Princess of Wales.
Even in the coldest, darkest season, winter has a way of bringing us stillness, patience, and quiet consideration. Where the stream slows just enough for us to see our own reflection, to discover the deepest parts of ourselves, alongside the whispers and the pulse of every living thing. I find myself reflecting on how deeply grateful I am. For the rivers within us flow with ease. Fears washed away. Cleanse and purify. Come to peace with our tears. and discover what it means to be alive. To be at one with nature. A quiet teacher and a soft voice that guides. In memory, helping us to heal.
Well, that was lovely, wasn't it, Cameron? I really enjoyed that. I mean, it's so nice to hear from her, especially after the health scare you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, very therapeutic. The final instalment, as I say, you may have seen the Princess of Wales pop up there on a walk in Berkshire, but there are other places around the UK. There we had Cumbria, we had Gloucestershire, we had London, we had East Sussex and the Cotswolds. The Princess is really concerned, actually, about the rise of digital uses and screen time, particularly AI and social media use with young people. I heard her talk about AI, actually, yesterday at a hospital visit I was on with her. But she recently wrote about the challenges and how she really wants, I think we're going to see perhaps this year, her really trying to encourage the British public to get back out in nature rather than spending too much time on screen, particularly in a very complex world and a very complicated world at the moment. But this, as I said, the final instalment of her Mother Nature video series, and it's basically her telling the public how nature and getting out and about in nature really helped her come to terms with her cancer diagnosis and her healing journey. And of course, she remains in remission, and she's saying in that video how grateful she is to be as healthy as she is.
Yeah, because Cameron, when you look at the Instagram posts that go up on the Wales's accounts, when you see even Charles's, a lot of his stuff, all very nature focused. It's quite a big theme for the royal family, isn't it? Looking after, conserving Britain, conserving nature. It's quite a big theme of what I think they want to encourage the public to be outdoors a bit more.
Well, yeah, but also and tradition, Alex, and it's the power of human connections. I mean, we talk a lot about pubs and you know how a lot of pubs are shutting down. That is a place where you can get into your community and speak to actual people rather than being on digital screens and being online and speaking to an AI bot, for example. And I think that's something that particularly the Princess is concerned about in terms of that, of losing that power of human connection, and that's what she wants to get back in this country.
And of course, Britain has so much beauty to offer, doesn't it?
Yep.
You see some of the shots there in Kate's birthday message. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's particularly Berkshire, near where she lives, perhaps. But
well,
yes, but also,
I heard you mention Cumbria, so I like to brag about my own area.
Cumbria was there, the Cotswolds, Gloucestershire, right across the country, anywhere in the United Kingdom, some great nature spots, so get out and about and look at it.
Well, happy birthday to the Princess of Wales.
Indeed.
From all of us here at GB News. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Absolutely.
Still to come. Britain threatens to ban Elon Musk's X over its AI tool Grok creating sexualised images of women and children. Should the government do it, or is it a massive overreach?
But coming up next, Labour are set for their 10th U-turn as they look to cave into pressure against pub tax hikes.
First, if you're in search of some holiday sun amidst all this horrible weather, here's the forecast for some of our top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries, all sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
It's not much warmer across the Mediterranean compared to the UK at the moment, thanks to a brisk wind, which is bringing plenty of showers to Greece and Croatia during Saturday. Certainly some snow over the mountains across the southeastern corner of Europe. Some snow over the mountains of Italy as well. Further north across Italy, some sunshine, largely fine conditions for Spain and Portugal. Snow over the Pyrenees and generally sunny spells in the Canaries. That'll continue into Sunday and Monday.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Well, pub bosses say they face financial ruin after Rachel Reeves' stealth tax raid in the budget as pint prices are ramped up, opening hours are cut and staff are laid off in desperate attempts to keep running.
So this morning we're asking, would you pay more for your pint to save local pubs?
Well, joining us now is pub owner Mark Bridgen and Communications Officer for the IEA, Reem Ibrahim. Really good to see you both this morning. Mark, let's start with you. We've spoken to you a lot about your lovely pub. Would you want people to pay more for a pint in order to save your business?
Well, it's looking like the only option. Yeah, with the increased taxes on every level and now the stress around rates increase and valuation agency, I don't know anyone that is making any money, so it feels like the only thing to do is to raise your prices. The irony is that actually at the moment many of us are actually putting down our prices to try and get people through the doors. You know, in a desperate bid to stay alive, we're having to, try and offer even more value.
Do you think the government is just tone deaf to the plight of our landlords of pubs and restaurants across the country?
They absolutely are. I mean, over 21,000 pubs have closed since 1980. That's half of that in the last 2 decades alone. So I really do think that the government have taxed, regulated, restricted pubs to the oblivion. But this is where I disagree with Mark. I don't think it's up to businesses themselves to say, you know what, we're going to remove our profit margins even further. We know that the hikes in national insurance contributions and increasing the minimum wage have a huge impact on small businesses.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's 10 to 10 on Britain's newsroom here at GB News, and Labour MPs who are concerned about soaring business rates for pubs have told GB News they are hoping the government will announce a package for pubs within days. Opposition leader Kemi Badenoch accused Labour MPs of scrambling to get themselves unbanned from their local pubs as pressure mounts on the government to act.
We're joined now in the studio by GB News political correspondent Olivia Utley. Olivia, this would be just one of many U-turns from the Labour government. Just talk to us a bit about this. This is the 10th one, I believe we were saying earlier.
Well, there are different ways of calculating it. One way you could say it's actually 12 U-turns, would be the 12th U-turn. It does very much sound as though this is something that the Chancellor is going to do. The package that's being talked about is a £300 million bailout. Obviously, this will come as a huge relief for landlords. Essentially, at the budget, what Rachel Reeves announced was that by April, the pandemic-era tax relief on pubs would be phased out. Now, that would mean that taxes for pubs would rise by 76%. Now, given that a pub has closed every single day since Keir Starmer took office, you can just imagine the sort of chaos that would hit pubs. And we've spoken to many landlords here on GB News saying that they would have to close their pub if that pandemic-era relief indeed comes to an end in April and nothing is put in its place. Now it sounds as though, although that pandemic-era relief will be phased out, something new will come in. We don't know exactly what sort of tax relief it will be, but basically pubs won't be treated in the way that we were expecting. Great news for landlords, great news for punters, not very good news for the Chancellor, because it means that there are a lot of questions now, yet again, about her sort of political nous, about her political credibility, because what she was planning on doing, when you think about it, really is very strange. Phasing out that pandemic-era relief, meaning that the number of pubs that would be closing would go up 1 month before the local elections. That would be an extraordinary decision. Now, people close to Rachel Reeves are saying that she hadn't really perhaps considered that, but she seems to have been blindsided by the ramifications of her budget policies. But why? Why was she blindsided? Why didn't she see this coming? It's been coming down the line for a long time. Why didn't she see it?
Olivia Hartley, thank you so much, political correspondent for GB News. Olivia Hartley, thank you very much for talking us through that. We have also got another guest here, Mo Metcalfe-Fisher, the Director of External Affairs at the Countryside Alliance. Mo, lovely to see you as ever. Is this going to be enough to save rural pubs in Britain?
Well, look, I'm like you guys and all the landlords waiting up and down the country. We're looking to see the actual detail here. We've had a few headlines, no real indication of what the support package is going to look like. Obviously, we're hopeful that it means that pubs are not going to get absolutely hammered by business rates on top of all of the other problems they have, Alex. This is the problem. I've just been speaking to a landlord, a rural landlord down in Cornwall, who has said that, you know, he's somewhat pleased by what he's reading. He's not seeing anything about rural rates relief, which is going to absolutely be a problem for so many rural pubs, which, as you guys know, are often the beating heart of villages all across the country. But also the cost of living crisis is hitting them really hard. You know, they're having to pay massive bills, and this is a really tricky time for them. And I just hope, Alex, like with the family farm tax, where there was partial changes announced quite quickly a couple of weeks ago after months, over years of protest and anger from rural communities, that the government actually just maybe think about working with the various sectors, whether that's the farming, rural or hospitality sectors, before they make these announcements and before they cause absolute chaos across the countryside.
Now, Mo, we're expecting that announcement from the Chancellor perhaps in the coming days. But ahead of that announcement, if you had a message for Rachel Reeves about the plight of landlords and our pubs here in Britain, what would your message be?
My message would be pretty clear. Up and down the country, pubs are much more than a place to grab a pint and a quick bite to eat. They are community hubs that work day in, day out to keep fragile communities together. We cannot lose them. And before making these announcements, I'd urge the Chancellor and ministers to work with the various sectors, hospitality, rural farming, before announcements are made, so that they don't cause unnecessary turmoil, damage, anxiety and chaos across the country. Let's get on with trying to find positive ways forward from the outset rather than afterwards, because it looks chaotic and it is confusing. And look, the landlords I've been speaking to, they just want to run a business and keep their community together.
Mo Metcalfe-Fisher, thank you so much for joining us this morning. As ever, a pleasure to see you on the show. Thanks for joining us. Now, listen, Sophie, the thing that is worrying me about this, and I want pubs to be supported, by the way, is the black hole already in January. Some calculations are putting it about 8 billion already. We've just started the year. We can't. The country's broke.
It's a fine line for the Chancellor to walk, isn't it? Because we need to make sure we can keep our pubs open, but we also need to think about that black hole. Now, we'll have the latest from across Britain as Storm Goretti leaves the UK in chaos this morning. This is Britain's Newsroom, Britain's favourite morning show here on GB News with Sophie and Alex.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning, time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Not quite the calm after the storm. Storm Goretti is slowly clearing away, though, through the day today. Still pretty wet and pretty cold across parts of the east. Still a number of Met Office warnings remain in place for snow and ice and some heavy rain across parts of eastern England too. Feeling pretty grotty in these eastern areas where a mix of rain, sleet and snow will continue to fall, accompanied by a pretty chilly wind. A further covering snow possible in places. A few wintry showers coming into Wales, but generally things improving and calming down here. Many areas across northern England, central Scotland will be dry, but still pretty cold in most parts. Temperatures may get to 7 or 8 in the southwest. Across Scotland, temperatures getting a few degrees above freezing. Still a few wintry showers, but as I say, many places here will have a largely dry day. Not much to melt the snow that's still lying, however. Things turning clear and frosty across Northern Ireland quite quickly through this evening, so so again could turn icy. Still a few wintry showers over the hills and mountains of Wales, and still pretty wet across these eastern counties of England. Really cold as the rain, sleet and snow continues to slowly pull away here during the evening. As it does so, everything could freeze up overnight, so a continued risk of ice on untreated surfaces. Generally clear skies, though, across this central slice of the country, allowing temperatures to dip down to freezing, certainly a few degrees below in rural spots, especially where there's snow lying on the ground. Now, for many, Saturday is an okay day, certainly the driest and brightest of this current spell. Not completely dry, still be some showers feeding into parts of Wales with snow on the hills and mountains. One or two showers still perhaps across eastern parts of England and northern Scotland. But for many, Saturday is going to be dry and bright. There'll be some sunshine, but still on the chilly side with temperatures in many places not much above 3 or 4 Celsius. Bye for now.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8, congestion is restricting the eastbound carriageway between junction 28 and junction 27. The A483 is closed both ways from Crossgates to Newtown due to unstable trees, also affecting the A470 near Langurig. On the A1 northbound at Newcastle upon Tyne, a broken down vehicle is blocking one of 2 lanes on the entry slip from the A69, with disruption expected until after 10:26 this morning. Northamptonshire's M1 northbound is slow between junction 27 and junction 29. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Chiltern Railways say Storm Goretti is impacting journeys. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Hello from the Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland. We're on an amazing Arctic adventure to celebrate our greatest cash giveaway, a simply stunning £85,000. And in 2026, we're giving you the chance to win it all.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
A very good morning to you. The time is 10 o'clock on Friday, the 9th of January, live across the United Kingdom. This is Britain's Newsroom with Sophie Reaper and Alex Armstrong.
Storm Goretti smashes Britain with snow, ice and 100-mile-per-hour winds, leaving tens of thousands without power and causing chaos on the roads. We have our nationwide reporters ready to tell you more.
Disrupted as trains, buses and trams are all having to be cancelled here in the West Midlands. We're in Dudley, where inches and inches of snow have fallen overnight.
We're here at Sheffield Station, where the line from Sheffield to Manchester has been cancelled until tomorrow because of Storm Goretti. It's also caused travel disruption across the rest of the UK.
Meanwhile, we're about to see the 10th U-turn from Labour, this time over its tax hikes on pubs. Hairdressers are now demanding the same reprieve. We'll pop over to a salon shortly.
That is why we've made these defence commitments. We are living in a more volatile world. I think everybody in the country accepts that.
A top defence chief warns Britain's army faces a £28 billion funding gap. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister pledges to deploy troops to Ukraine for a peacekeeping deal.
And unrest in Iran. A nationwide internet blackout follows almost 2 weeks of anti-government protests. The principal deputy spokesperson for the Department of State spoke to The Late Show Live.
This is something they brought on themselves. You have seen many, many years of a regime in Iran that ignored the well-being of their own people.
And Britain threatens to ban Elon Musk's X over its AI tool Grok, creating sexualized images of women and children. Well, what are you doing? You stuck at home today? Or have you not been able to make it into work because of the torrential rain or snow? Personally, it's fine here. It's just an average day in London. It's windy, it's wet, it's pretty miserable, but just get on with it.
Unless you wear Will Godley or Jack Carson, that looks pretty frosty there. And, you know, we hear from Anna Riley there that our trains are a nightmare, but then again, when are they not?
I was going to say, when are they not a nightmare? When you're working from home, do you dress down a little bit? Because our very own Sophie Reaper today, she's not quite working from home. I don't know if we can see her. She's almost there. She is.
There we are.
Half turned up to work. The lovely slippers on.
I will say, I do have a good excuse. Many of our viewers will know I had surgery in October. This week I've come out of the big moon boots, finally, but I'm still not able to get into my big heels. So I thought, snowing around the country, why not just get a bit toasty under the desk?
It makes me look taller. I'm well happy about that.
Dear me.
What do you think? What do you think of the slippers? We'd love to hear that, but I was going to say what you're wearing at home. I think it might be going a bit too far there. Let us know what the weather's like in your area. gbnews.com/your say. But let's first get your news with Tatiana Sanchez.
Thank you very much. The top stories this morning. Storm Goretti continues to batter the UK, with tens of thousands of Britons across the country facing widespread power cuts, travel disruption and school closures. An amber alert for snow remains in place for large parts of Wales, the Midlands and Yorkshire. An estimated 57,000 properties across the UK remain without power after the storm brought 99-mile-per-hour winds and heavy snowfall. A section of the M1 has been closed between junction 28 Mansfield and 29 Chesterfield after a lorry crash early this morning. The government's decision to backtrack and provide new financial support for pubs is a sign of its strength and confidence, a senior Labour figure has claimed. Anna Turley, chairwoman of the Labour Party, said she doesn't buy it as a U-turn, adding it's actually about listening. While high street businesses have called on the government to expand business rate relief plans beyond pubs following reports of the impending U-turn. The Treasury is understood to be preparing a support package for the pub industry due to be announced in the coming days following an outcry over the impact of major hikes in rates. Shadow Business Secretary Andrew Griffith spoke to GB News this morning.
Conservative Party has laid out a plan to save £23 billion on welfare, get more people off the welfare rolls and into work. That's how you really make a difference, get our economy moving. The government won't do that. They won't make those tough choices. Every question that's ever posed to them is spend more of other people's money. So that's why they've got into this hamster wheel of dreaming up more and more taxes every budget, and the burden falls on businesses, on our high streets. You can see it with the businesses that are closing down, insolvency, the short hours, having to let people go. They don't understand business. They don't really understand how to run an economy. The only thing they understand is how to spend other people's money.
Iranian state media has claimed terrorist agents from the US and Israel have set fires and sparked violence on the streets. Iran's government initiated a nationwide internet blackout late last night, which extended into today, according to internet monitoring group NetBlocks. The blackout also applied to international phone calls. Demonstrations first began in Tehran last month, triggered by a sharp slide in the value of the rial currency, but have since spread across Iran. In an interview yesterday, the US president said he'll hit Iran very hard if they start killing any protesters. At least 21 people, including security forces, have been killed since the demonstrations began, according to local media reports. Officials say 2 people have been wounded in a shooting involving US federal agents in Portland in Oregon. The city's police department said in a statement that a man and a woman had been taken to hospital and their conditions were unknown. The Department of Homeland Security said the incident happened at 2:19 p.m. local time, with the traffic stop of a Venezuelan gang member who allegedly attempted to run over agents with his car. The incident comes the day after a federal agent fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis, triggering protests around the US against federal law enforcement operations in US cities. Elsewhere, Elon Musk's platform X has limited image editing with its AI tool Grok to paying users after it came under fire for allowing people to make sexualized deep fakes. There's been a significant backlash after the chatbot honoured requests from users to digitally alter images of other people by undressing them without their consent. But Grok is now telling people asking it to make such material that only paid subscribers would be able to do so, meaning their name and payment information must be on file. Those who do not subscribe can still use Grok to edit images on its separate app and website. And the Princess of Wales is celebrating her 44th birthday, the day after making a surprise appearance to show support for under-pressure NHS staff. Princess Catherine visited Charing Cross Hospital with the Prince of Wales on Thursday as the pair carried out their first public engagement of the year. The Princess's birthday today falls just days before the first anniversary of her announcement at the start of 2025 that she was in remission from cancer. The Princess had last been seen on Christmas Day when she joined William and their children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, and the rest of the royal family for their traditional walk to church at Sandringham in Norfolk. And those are the latest headlines. For now, more in half an hour.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB Digital Radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
A very good morning to you. This is Britain's Newsroom, live across the United Kingdom on GB News with Alex Armstrong and Sophie Reaper. Now, lots of you getting in touch this morning, aren't they, Alex? Particularly about my slippers. Someone says, well, you don't want your feet wrapped in shoes, you need to be comfy.
I'll remember that.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
Remember that. Next time
Alex
my boss complains, I'm going to say the audience don't mind us wearing flip-flops.
Dawn says, Sophie, comfort is king, or in this case, queen. Had to read that one out. Someone else saying, slippers, I'm still tucked up under the electric blanket, toasty warm, looking out the windows at winter landscape. Luscious. Beautiful. Very jealous of that particular view. That sounds very nice.
Alison says, daughter on a train from Derby to Waterloo. She said it was on time and virtually empty. A great journey. This is the thing, we do catastrophise everything in Britain, don't we? A little bit of snow. Oh, we better close the schools, close the doctors, shut the country down. But there's people managing to get around the country still. I mean, I guess it can be potluck depending on where you are. Of course, some parts of the country are going to be worse than others today. But there we go.
Make the decision based on what the weather's like around you. That's the best advice I can give.
Brenda and Michael from Bolton, wet, cold, miserable, no snow. That's London for you as well, actually. So you're not alone there. It's pretty miserable here. There we go.
I have to say, I do love it when my fellow Boltonians get in touch. So a few of you already this morning letting me know what weather I'm coming back to. So thank you very much for that. Good. It's good to know that my drive home might not all be horrendous.
No, I'm sure it'll be fine.
If
there's anyone getting home, it's going to be Sophie Reaper, isn't it? We've sent her out to more ropey places than driving home before.
Very true.
But right, listen. Listen, often on GB News we talk about the immigration crisis facing Britain. Well, over in Hungary, they've taken a stronger stance, building a razor-wire border fence along its southern borders with Serbia and Croatia in 2015 to block illegal immigration. I've seen it for myself, and GB News presenter Miriam Cates is joining us live from the Hungary-Serbia border. Miriam, thanks for joining us on your show. It's great to have you down the line from us in Hungary. It looks probably twice as cold there than it is here. But tell us about this incredible immigration control that they are able to pull off in Hungary.
Well, Alex, Sophie, good morning. And yes, I'm actually here in Budapest at the moment, the capital of Hungary. It's very snowy, as you can see. Sophie, you would not be warm enough in your slippers here. But we are shortly departing for the border with Serbia. As you said, it's about a 2-hour drive. We'll shortly be getting on the bus. And like you said, Alex, there are some huge fences designed to prevent illegal migrants from crossing the border into Hungary and into the EU. Now, these fences were put up some time ago after the illegal migration crisis of 2015. They've been hugely controversial. They've sparked a bit of a war with the EU, but Hungary is not backing down because they don't want illegal migrants. Now, yesterday, our national reporter, Charlie Peters, who's here with me, sat down with Balázs Orban, who's a senior strategist in the Hungarian government, and asked him what he thought about the UK's failures on this issue. Here's what he had to say.
So if I talk to ordinary British middle class, even upper middle class people, now they also know that the country is somehow changed, even if they live in neighborhoods which are not affected by gangs. But they realize that they became alien in their country. And this is not something what we want here in Hungary. We were fighting for like the sovereignty and the independence and the Hungarianness of this land for like 1,000 years. We don't want to lose it.
So the Hungarian government very much sees the experience of Britain and Western Europe as a warning of what happens if countries fail to control illegal migration. And that's why they have taken such a tough stance. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the border works, how they make sure that they have so few crossings. Indeed, last year there were only 25 asylum applications in Hungary itself. It has almost managed to stop the problem entirely. Now, of course, the Home Office in London say that they are cracking down on illegal migration. They've deported over 50,000 people in the last year, and they're implementing all sorts of schemes to try to remove people. But the Hungarian experience shows that you have to prevent the problem in the first place. Once people get into a country illegally, once they're allowed to settle or even slip through the net, it's very, very difficult to remove them. And it's interesting that Hungary have managed to do all this while remaining in the EU. The EU has not taken it lying down. They are fining the Hungarians €1 million a day for taking this stance. But nevertheless, the Hungarians say it's worth it to prevent the kind of destructive problems we are seeing in the UK. So we're very much looking forward to seeing the border. We'll be going to you live on GB News all day from the borders for some very big fences and some very deep snow, and we'll have lots more to report back.
Let me tell you, Miriam, I've seen that border wall in Hungary. It is absolutely, it's so impressive. It's so impressive, the technology they're using. And I looked at it and I just thought to myself, why can't we do this for the channel? Why can't we do this across Britain? We'd be able to track almost every single person that comes into this country. But alas, you know, we might as well be talking to a brick wall. Miriam Cates, always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Stay warm out there in chilly Budapest. Moving on, though.
From freezing temperatures in Hungary, many of you will be waking up to freezing temperatures here in the UK. That's after Storm Goretti left a trail of destruction overnight.
An amber alert is in place this morning for large parts of Wales, the Midlands and Yorkshire.
Well, joining us now is GB News national reporter Jack Carson. He's in Dudley for us this morning. He's got his woolly hat and his scarf on. Jack, is it freezing there?
Do you know what? It's in terms of the temperature, it's actually not that bad. But overnight, you can just see all around us exactly how much snow has fallen. If you want to, our cameraman Ollie just wants to come down here and just show you where my foot is. If I lift that, that's just how deep the snow is here. So that's a good few inches of snow all the way here. But I tell you what, it's not stopping some people from coming out here. Look, some kids having a nice little play with a sledge. I'm very jealous of them. I'm not going to be able to go sledging today. We haven't got one. We have to try and find a shop so we can enjoy enjoy some of this snow ourselves. But of course, it's not just the fun of the snow, it's the disruption as well. We know all across the West Midlands there is disruption. Shropshire worries around certain communities being cut off. We've seen tractors with Shropshire Council snowplows on the front trying to clear some of those country roads. More closer to home here in Dudley and in Birmingham, the West Midlands Metro, due to fallen trees on the line, unable to run a majority of its services. And West Midlands Railway this morning issued a very simple do not travel alert, saying that no services will be running until at least this afternoon at the earliest, and that no replacement bus services could be put on either because of the uncertainty around the roads. National Express, the company that run the bus travel in Birmingham, they weren't able to run any services at all until 8 o'clock, when some could finally get going in Coventry. So all across the Midlands there is disruption to public transport. Birmingham Airport suspended all operations overnight. This morning they've now saying they're reducing, they're starting again on a reduced basis. So some flights are able to get out of Birmingham Airport and people are able to check in. But again, check with your airline, check who you are travelling with to make sure that your flight is still going ahead, because some are cancelled. But here in Dudley there are inches and inches of snow. It's fallen overnight. We know, of course, that amber weather alert was in place overnight, expecting in some parts of the region up to 30 centimetres in snow. But of course, here on GB News, we like a bit of fun as well. If you come back to me in an hour, maybe we'll have a full snowman.
Jack, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely, you wouldn't be wearing your slippers out there, I tell you that,
No,
Sophie.
definitely
Jack
not.
looks like he's ready for the weather.
I hope
You're
he's
ready for
brought
it.
a carrot and a hat for that snowman, though.
Yep. Thank you, Jack. Well, let's cross over to Sheffield with our Yorkshire and Humber reporter, Anna Riley. Anna, what's it looking like over where you are?
Good morning. Yes, well, here the snow has fallen. It's starting to turn to slush. Grit has been put down here outside Sheffield Station, you'll be able to see. But not everyone here that I've spoken to was aware that TransPennine Express has suspended services from Sheffield to Manchester all today. The service is resuming tomorrow morning due to those weather conditions that we're seeing. More widely as well, National Rail is warning rail passengers to expect disruption to services across the UK due to Storm Goretti. West Midlands Railway has told customers not to travel until Friday afternoon, today in the afternoon at the earliest, and all morning services have been suspended between Birmingham and Liverpool Lime Street. Transport for Wales has also suspended some routes, especially between Liverpool Lime Street and Chester, and between Shrewsbury and Swansea. Great Western Railway as well anticipates disruption to its services until this afternoon. So that's the picture on the rail network. We've heard from Jack there about Birmingham Airport, but also British Airways cancelled 25 departures and 27 arrivals that were scheduled for London's Heathrow Airport today, and most of those are short-haul routes. And passengers across, going at Birmingham Airport and also London Heathrow have been told to check before they travel due to potential disruption. There's disruption at sea as well. The ferry operator DFDS is warning those travelling between Dover and France today to expect disruption, and of course disruption on the roads as well. The AA warning people to only travel if really necessary in areas that have been blanketed by snow.
Thank you very much, Anna Riley. I tell you what, I'm a bit more nervous for my drive home now, listening to that report. But someone else who's going to be nervous about their commute home is our GB News national reporter, Will Godley, who's joining us now from Wales. Will, we know you've perhaps got the worst of the snow. What's happening there now?
Yeah, Sophie, Alex, morning to you. That snow that was falling rapidly last night, leaving about 25 centimetres here, has stopped, and the temperature's warm enough now for that to begin melting. Many of the roads in Wales, though, not those busy motorways, but these smaller roads, ungritted, and so quite difficult driving conditions unless you are equipped for it. Last night, when it was 25 centimetres, so certainly we weren't, and so this is where our car was stuck last night. We have now been reunited with it, and we're hoping to make a move shortly, perhaps to find some people to chat to because right now we're surrounded by farmers' fields. There's some sheep in that one, some cows in that one. They're looking a little bit cold and wondering where their food is and where the grass is, because right now it's all covered in snow and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, it does look very snowy there. I mean, do you know what? I love the snow. I love it. I love it.
But until you travel.
Yeah, if you need to do things, I understand it can be a nightmare, but we get it. It's so rare we get snow in Britain, really. It's a few days of the year. And I think on days like this, if you are really, you know, stuck at home, just try and enjoy it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's
like those children playing in the background with Jack Carson. You know, get your sledge out, make a snowman, enjoy it.
Absolutely. And,
now, it's time for the Great British Giveaway, and time is ticking on your chance to become our biggest cash prize winner to date, as we have an incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash to give away. Here are all the details.
There's just 3 weeks left to grab your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to make 2026 the year of yes. That's yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to making all of those dreams come true this year. What would you spend all of that cash on? 2026 could be the year you spend more time spending, with an incredible £85,000 in your bank. Just make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 9th of February. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, good luck. Well, this is a big one. Has the Labour government finally found that magic silver bullet to ban free speech on Elon Musk's X platform?
We'll be going through that and much, much more with Jonathan Liss and Dr. Renee Honderkamp. This is Britain's Newsroom on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
I think that many problems that Luton has, I think many parts of the country are suffering from those problems. But I think there are some good aspects to living in Luton as well.
But Raki, we have to address the elephant in the room in a sense, and that is Luton an example of a failed multicultural town? What I mean by that is we have 54.8% of the population is non-white, the largest being minority ethnic group Asian, and we do see, you live there, cultures living side by side, and there's a lack of integration. Is that a problem?
No, I think there's definitely integration challenges which need to be addressed in Luton. Now, when I was a lot younger, there were significant social tensions in Luton. We saw the Islamist Butchers of Basra demonstrations, and then the subsequent creation of the English Defence League, the EDL. But I have to say, even though we have those integration challenges, if you look in other parts of the country, there have been significant forms of civil unrest which Luton has not experienced. If you remember the 2011 summer riots that took place across England, there weren't many incidents in Luton. And if you want to talk about ethnic and religious segregation, I think that Leicester has far bigger problems than Luton. So I think that while Luton has its issues surrounding integration and segregation, I think that some of those problems are even more intense in other parts of the country.
We can't finish this conversation without noting, of course, the entrance to the away end at Luton Town Stadium there. Of course, that is an entrance which goes through someone's house. It's so bad, it's good. In fact, away fans who go there say it's a good away day. It's something they will always remember.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Alex and Sophie. It's a treat to have you here today, Sophie. It's really nice.
Oh, you keep making
It's lovely, isn't it lovely to have Sophie on here? No, it's true. And we're joined by two favourites here. Jonathan List, maybe less of a favourite. Dr.
You can be my favourite.
I'm a bit of a wind-up.
Now, the weather seems to be dominating a lot of the news this morning, guys. But what else are we talking about?
So, obviously, we're looking at the 12th U-turn of this brilliant government who can't govern anything now because of these U-turns. And this is on pubs. And everybody knew they were going to have to do this unless they wanted, you know, complete uproar in the countryside where pubs are a really, really important social place of gathering. And I think we've yet to see what her decision is going to be on how she's going to help pubs. But I suspect that this is not over because I don't think it's going to be enough and it needs to extend to restaurants and hotels and also small businesses.
Hairdressers as well. They're coming. Apparently, they're next. They want a bit of a cut as well. And this is the problem, isn't it? Because Jonathan, we're in a black hole already. £8 billion into the year. We're only we're 9 days into January. Beg your pardon. And the black hole's already starting to build up because of government U-turns.
Jonathan's on Google.
No, I was just looking at the.
So you're using Grok by any chance?
No, I'm not using Grok. And if I was, I wouldn't be doing what you were about to suggest to there. I've got lots of pictures of Alex, but I'm not going to undress him in any of them.
Okay, right. Well, don't say what you're thinking. Don't say what you're thinking out loud. Go on, Jonathan.
Okay, so this is obviously a story about how pubs are going to face a 76% rise in rates over the next 3 years. And that was more kind of cock-up, as so often with this government. It's the kind of unintended consequences that they haven't thought through step after step. So actually what Reeves tried to do is she reduced the rates, but because she also got rid of COVID-era reliefs, and there was a revaluation that happened. It ended up being completely dwarfed. So the cuts that she announced were completely dwarfed by those other things that happened, which is what led to these rates. So the government didn't try to clobber pubs and hotels, but by a series of disjointed government, which often happens in all parties, you do one thing on this side, another thing on this side, and they are working against each other. It ended up clobbering pubs and hotels. So they should have seen it. I'm not defending them, but they should have seen it coming. Well, it's not nonsense. Nothing what have I said is wrong.
Right, OK, but they have tried to clobber small businesses, not just in this budget where the pubs have been affected, but the pubs were also affected in the budget before, as were the small businesses across the country, by inheritance tax changes, which same as the farmers, no difference, by energy costs, by minimum wage, by employment changes. All of these things have culminated. It's not just this, Jonathan, it's everything. Which is why I say it's not going to be enough, because pubs are the entry point for young people into work now because they're not allowed to get Saturday jobs or paper rounds. So they're being clobbered there with minimum wage and all of the employment rights. This government has destroyed small business, which is the backbone of this country. And this is just another bit of the cake that they got wrong. They are incompetent.
But look, this is about priorities, isn't it? Because when the government increased the minimum wage for young people, that was supposed to be helping young people who are facing generational difficulties across the board. And so governments have certain levers, and one of them is to improve the minimum wage for young people. So obviously there are no magic bullets in life, and you do one thing and someone else is going to be affected. But you have to make choices, and the government decided to make that choice. It wasn't to clobber small businesses. So some small businesses might be affected, but they're still paying those kids less than they are paying 25.
Well, talking of making choices, Renee, there's an uprising happening in Iran, unprecedented, and it's a complete silence. Crickets from the Prime Minister and all these progressive European leaders. Why aren't they saying anything?
Because they don't want to upset their voter base, do they? Because they've got to be very, very careful how they handle anything that criticises Islam. And we know that Iran is an Islamic state, an Islamist state. I mean, even their flag is an Islamist flag. It's not the Iranian flag. But they still have to be very, very careful how they tread. If this was happening in one of the European countries, if they had a dictator in there that was stoning women to death for not wearing their hijab properly, we would be cheering. We would be absolutely cheering. But we're not, and we should be, because I've got lots of friends in this country who lived in Iran when it was Persia, when it was one of the most liberal, beautiful countries in the Middle East, and they would yearn to see the return of that, and we should be yearning for it too.
This is absolutely nothing to do with Islam. I don't know about who's running Number 10's government account, but in the past, when there have been protests in Tehran, which have happened in Iran many, many times, governments have openly supported that and expressed the view time and time again that the Iranian people should have self-determination
Where are all
and
the
the
Free
right to...
Palestine protesters? Where are all the lefties? They were out protesting against Venezuela. They had pre-printed their banners. As soon as Trump got rid of a dictator in Venezuela, they were out the next day or the same day, I think, outside the US embassy. They had placards ready to go. And when the Palestine stuff happened, they had a protest organised the same day by the Met Police, and they're nowhere to be seen when the Iranian people are overthrowing the Islamist regime.
Absolutely unhinged. There is nothing.
How is it? It's the same thing.
Nothing similar between those things.
How is it not similar?
Venezuela was a naked act of imperial illegal aggression.
No.
Yes, it was.
He was a
No
dictator.
congressional. That doesn't matter.
He was a dictator selling
There are lots of
cocaine to
dictators in the
Americans.
world. You cannot just take them out. That's
Totally
not how.
can.
That's not how international.
You can. And they did.
You can't. According to international. If you believe that international law means anything,
no, I don't.
Then actually,
I don't believe international law
that's
means
a great
anything.
admission, but fine.
Yeah,
We actually do nominally operate under a system of international law, and you actually can't do that. Iran, no one has actually tried to take out the government yet. That's
the Iranian people are trying.
Right.
Iranian people are
the
trying.
Iranian people are
and
trying.
where are the lefties?
Well, I'm a lefty, and I'm saying.
Where's your?
Have
you been out protesting this weekend?
Well, why would I be protesting? I support the right. I support the right of the Iranian people to have a free, democratic society, and I always have. The idea that the government is holding back on criticism of the Iranian regime, who they've been attacking for the last 45 years, is absolute nonsense.
Well, I guess you could extrapolate Alex's point to where were all the protesters when women were being killed for not wearing their hijab properly? Where were they marching in the streets?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that some people were demonstrating about that, and people were saying how terrible that was. So women's organisations have been always expressing full solidarity with women in Iran who are forced to wear the hijab and don't want
Jonathan,
to.
you have to admit there is a huge difference. You know as much as I do that when the day of the Venezuela stuff happened, they had pre-printed banners ready to go. The day that when Israel and Gaza went to war, then the same day they were submitting protests into the Metropolitan Police so they could hold massive. Even responded. So where is this whole solidarity
Alex,
with these people? It's so hypocritical.
Why is it so
it's
hard?
so typical
why
of
is
the
it
left.
so hard to understand that when the UK government is supporting something that people disagree with?
What about Venezuela? They had nothing to do with the British people. They were out protesting in the embassy.
UK government, the UK, well, the US is obviously the most powerful country in the world, and people are entitled to protest US policy. What happened in Venezuela was about US policy, and obviously people are entitled to protest that. And also our government's craven response to it was that, well, we can't say if it was illegal or not. No, they can say, they just don't want to because they want to upset Trump.
What happened in Gaza was about Israeli policy. It wasn't about UK policy.
It was what people were protesting there was obviously about what Israel was doing, but also our government's response to it. Protests have different. That's absolute nonsense. That's a complete smear.
We've got to leave it there, but it's good to know that the lefties will only show up when it's a Western government that's done something wrong, and then they want to go and have their pre-printed banners out and they go and protest. But when there's a real struggle, when there's real people trying to overthrow a dictatorship, Islamist terrorist regime, they're nowhere to be seen. Anyway.
2 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps in China.
What can I say?
Well, moving on, I think we'll agree to disagree. Here's the 60-second news update with Tatiana Sanchez.
You always have to have the last word, don't you?
Thank you very much. The top story. Storm Goretti continues to batter the UK, with tens of thousands of Britons across the country facing widespread power cuts, travel disruption and school closures. The government's decision to backtrack and provide new financial support for pubs is a sign of its strength and confidence, a senior Labour figure has claimed. Anna Turley, chairwoman of the Labour Party, said she doesn't buy it as a U-turn, adding it's actually about listening.
Iranian state media has claimed terrorist agents from the US and Israel have set fires and sparked violence on the streets. Iran's government initiated a nationwide internet blackout late last night, which extended into today, according to internet monitoring group NetBlocks. Those are the latest headlines for now. More from me at 11.
Take the GB News family with you on any device. As long as you have an internet connection, tune into GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond.
Thank you, Tatiana. Now, still ahead, block it like Beckham. Find out why Brooklyn tells his parents, David and Victoria, to only contact him through his lawyers. This is Britain's Newsroom on GB News.
Morning, time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Not quite the calm after the storm. Storm Goretti is slowly clearing away, though, through the day today. Still pretty wet and pretty cold across parts of the east. Still a number of Met Office warnings remain in place for snow and ice and some heavy rain across parts of eastern England too. Feeling pretty grotty in these eastern areas where a mix of rain, sleet and snow will continue to fall, accompanied by a pretty chilly wind. A further covering snow possible in places. A few wintry showers coming into Wales, but generally things improving and calming down here. Many areas across northern England, central Scotland will be dry, but still pretty cold in most parts. Temperatures may get to 7 or 8 in the southwest. Across Scotland, temperatures getting a few degrees above freezing. Still a few wintry showers, but as I say, many places here will have a largely dry day. Not much to melt the snow that's still lying, however. Things turning clear and frosty across Northern Ireland quite quickly through this evening, so again could turn icy. Still a few wintry showers over the hills and mountains of Wales, and still pretty wet across these eastern counties of England. Really cold as the rain, sleet and snow continues to slowly pull away here during the evening. As it does so, everything could freeze up overnight, so a continued risk of ice on untreated surfaces. Generally clear skies, though, across this central slice of the country, allowing temperatures to dip down to freezing, certainly a few degrees below in rural spots, especially where there's snow lying on the ground. Now, for many, Saturday is an okay day, certainly the driest and brightest of this current spell. Not completely dry, still be some showers feeding into parts of Wales with snow on the hills and mountains. 1 or 2 showers still perhaps across eastern parts of England and northern Scotland. But for many, Saturday is going to be dry and bright. There'll be some sunshine, but still on the chilly side with temperatures in many places not much above 3 or 4 Celsius. Bye for now.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News every week.
You're not only watching and listening to our programmes, you're becoming part of them too.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A8, there are eastbound restrictions between Woodhall roundabout and Langbank roundabout after a broken down vehicle. In North Lincolnshire, the A180 westbound is slow between the A160 and the M180, with one lane closed after a breakdown. In Derbyshire, Northamptonshire's M1 northbound is heavily congested between junction 27 and junction 29, with delays of around 50 minutes. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Chiltern Railways say Storm Goretti is impacting journeys. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Welcome back in. Welcome back in. You are at home.
Welcome back in.
Back in. Welcome back into Britain's News. Let's go with that one, shall we? With Alex and Sophie.
Now, Labour MPs who are concerned about soaring business rates for pubs have told GB News they're hoping the government will announce a package for pubs within days.
It comes as angry pub bosses warn they may take strike action, saying rising bills and falling footfall are pushing businesses to the brink.
Opposition leader Kemi Badenoch accused Labour MPs of scrambling to get themselves unbanned from their local pubs as pressure mounts on the government to act.
Well, we're now joined by Operations Director in the North for Star Pubs, Mick Howard. Mick, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Are you, I guess, are you hopeful that the government are going to do something substantial? Because, of course, there are so many other things affecting pubs, not just these business rates, but you've got national insurance, minimum wage. Are you hopeful for a substantial change, or do you expect the government are going to do something like they've done with the farmers and sort of do a little bit of a change for pubs?
Yeah, morning, Alex, Sophie. I mean, first, it's very positive that the government is looking at this and hopefully listening to pubs. And you know, before we get too congratulatory, we do need to understand what the detail is. You know, the current 30% rise we're looking at is just too high. I mean, any rise is too high. We will see pubs close. You know, pubs are real centres of the community. You know, pubs create jobs, pubs provide work for local services. The government investing in pubs, you know, as an investment in local communities, shouldn't be seen as a burden on the exchequer because pubs do generate income for the government.
And you're absolutely right that pubs are the real centre of our communities. I know that myself and many of the other reporters, I know, Alex, you have also been into pubs to speak to landlords. It's a scary time if you're a landlord and you're facing all of these changes, and this package we're waiting for is clearly a nervous time. But what would you say to the government if you were going to speak directly to the Chancellor and you were going to, you know, petition her to help our pubs? We know that one pub, I think, is it one pub a week or one pub a day even, has closed since the Labour government has been in power. If you had a message for Rachel Reeves today, what would that message be?
Pubs close and are a cost to the exchequer. People lose jobs, local services lose income. I think the Chancellor realising that, and the Chancellor supporting pubs, you know, she shouldn't see it as a cost. She should see it as an investment, and she should see it as something that's vital that they do something now. The Labour government pledged in their manifesto to level the playing field for high street businesses like pubs, and she's got a real opportunity now to make good on that promise.
Mick, you know, look, I'm all for supporting pubs, by the way. I appreciate how difficult it is for you, but the government are in a really difficult spot. This would be, well, we're looking at about an £8 billion black hole, and it's only the first 9 days of January, and that's not even taking into consideration how much this might cost the country. Is it just the case that the country's bankrupt and we can't afford to be helping businesses anymore?
Well, we appreciate, you know, the fiscal issues the Chancellor faces. However, increasing pub closures isn't the way to solve that. You know, increasing business rates on businesses that are already squeezed tighter and tighter and tighter for many years now. It's been recognised that the business rate system is unfair for many years, and promised that we'd see proper reform to that. So making good on that and creating long-term sustainable businesses that can contribute to the exchequer and see growth, I think that's the way the Chancellor should look at this situation.
Now, just really quickly, Mick, while we've got you, we know you're Operations Director in the North for Star Pubs. How many, can you perhaps give us a figure about how many of those pubs are, you know, have closed their doors or are starting to consider that because of this issue we're facing?
As yet, we haven't seen pubs close because of this particular issue, but it's not come into effect yet. But we are very concerned about the mental health of publicans. January, February is already a very difficult time for them, and to have this facing them, you know, coming towards them in the first quarter of this year, I think will be troubling people. We'll be seeing people make decisions, and people, you know, really worried about their future, the future of their families, the future of local communities, and making decisions that they, you know, potentially wouldn't make if we knew that the Chancellor was going to support them.
Mick, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, GB News, we're big supporters of pubs here. We love going to the pub here at GB News. All of our staff do, actually. We want to make sure our pubs thrive in this country. Backbone of Britain. They really are. They really, really are.
And he makes a very valid point about dry January. Very difficult time of the year for our pubs. But if you want to support your local pub, go down and have a soft drink. Go down and have a non-alcoholic version. There's so many great options. Exactly.
Yeah.
We can.
Or just don't do dry January.
Yeah.
You know,
I knew you'd say that.
That's why. I mean, I'm not doing it. I never do. I never do. I think just go to the pub any time of the year. Anyway, still to come, we'll have the latest from across Britain as Storm Goretti has caused some travel chaos. If you're in search of some holiday sun in the meantime, though, here's the forecast for some of our top European destinations.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
It's not much warmer across the Mediterranean compared to the UK at the moment, thanks to a brisk wind, which is bringing plenty of showers to Greece and Croatia during Saturday. Certainly some snow over the mountains across the southeastern corner of Europe. Some snow over the mountains of Italy as well. Further north across Italy, some sunshine, largely fine conditions for Spain and Portugal. Snow over the Pyrenees and generally sunny spells in the Canaries. That'll continue into Sunday and Monday.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
A very good morning to you. The time is 12 minutes to 11 and this is Britain's Newsroom with Alex and Sophie.
Right, well, hairdressers are following in the footsteps of publicans by banning Labour MPs from their businesses over what they call the government's business rate betrayal.
Yes, indeed. Barbers and salons are fuming after the Chancellor promised to pay for a reduction in bills for smaller firms by hiking taxes on larger properties to level the playing field between the high street and online giants.
Well, joining us now from a hair and beauty salon is GB News South of England reporter Isabel Fekulak. Isabel, you've got a better gig today than some of our colleagues out in the snow and wilderness. But tell us, what's the feelings like in hair and beauty salons? I don't think Isabel can hear us. Don't think she can hear us.
No,
well,
we'll
come back to. Oh, well,
let's come
I
back
don't know
to
who's sat there. Maybe someone's about to get their hair cut.
Well,
right,
I was going to say, Isabel's hair does look fabulous this morning. I wonder if she's had a quick trim.
But I tell you what, though, my problem with listen, I know we should support our hairdressers in England, Britain, and everywhere. However, my worry is there's enough barbers as it is. They're everywhere, right? So these are the sorts of people that will also be getting some sort of business rate relief. I don't need any more barbers. Where I live, there's 6 male Turkish barbers.
Well, you're very lucky then, because trying to get a hairdressing appointment with my hairdresser, who is fabulous, she's one of my friends, but she's so great, so she's, of course, very popular. Yeah. So trying to get in, over Christmas particularly, was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But maybe Isabel Fekulak can shed a bit more light on the situation for us now. I think we can join her now. There she is.
Good morning, guys. I'm in a flourishing, long-standing salon in Hemel Hempstead. It's called Results, and you'd think that salons are just, you know, where you'd come to get a cut and blow dry, but actually here it's a pillar of the community. Members coming in every week for their cut and blow dries, looking forward to it, a chance to sit back, relax, and have a good old gossip. But you know, I'm joined now, and unfortunately, there has been really some difficulties in this industry, like we've seen with farmers and pubs. The last budget has hit them hard, and I'm joined now by Bailey Johnson, the owner of the salon here. Bailey, how hard have the last couple of years been for you?
Incredibly hard. We've had constant rises in minimum wages, in national insurance, so an already struggling sector has now become crippled by the latest budget.
And you talk of the budget there. What is it specifically that has impacted you here?
Well, really, it's stumped our growth, and it will continue to stump our growth because I now can't employ any more apprentices, which is what we need for the economy to grow. I can't offer any more job vacancies to stylists, so I can't grow that way either.
And how do you think that's going to impact the community and the industry as a whole?
Well, this is a community hub. This is a social place where people come, and sometimes we're the only people they see all week is in this salon, so it'll end up with job losses, unfortunately.
And you talk there of job losses, but I know my first job was being a Saturday girl at a hairdresser, sweeping the floor. I mean, that's going to have a massive impact on young people who are already struggling at getting jobs. What's that impact going to have? Are you letting go any apprentices?
We aren't at the moment, but what I won't be able to do is I won't be able to employ the 2 that I normally do every 2 years. And perhaps we won't be able to have 1 this year, which means that my 2 girls that are qualified won't be able to move up as quick as they should be.
And across the country, other barbers and hairdressers are starting to take a stand. They're blocking Labour MPs from coming in, like we've seen with pubs and farmers following that route. Is that something that you're aligning with?
Well, it's something that I wouldn't dismiss at this point, and the reason being is it's clearly working because Rachel Reeves has taken a U-turn this morning and watered down the pub hike. So it's something that I would seriously consider, although at this point, principles cost money. And we're not in a position that we could afford to turn away clients at this point. So we're over a barrel, unfortunately.
And I know you have a really strong client base here, so I'm going to go and try and speak to a client who's getting their hair done, because they come in week in, week out. Ruth here has been here for over 30 years coming to this salon. Ruth, let me just speak to you quickly. I can see you look lovely getting your hair done. How important is it, this salon, to you?
Very important. I don't know what I'd do without it. I can't get anywhere without... I can walk up here, I can't drive anywhere. My husband doesn't drive either now. So I have to... This is the only place I can get to.
And
my outing of the week.
You come here every week. What would it mean to you if a place like this or other hairdressers across the country had to close because of the increasing financial struggles?
If this one closed, it would mean I'd lose my hair getting done every week. I wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. I can't get anywhere else.
Well, there you go. We've seen there just the impact it will have. Thank you, Ruth, and you look amazing. It's going to affect people all around the country if these financial pressures continue to impact the industry. But like farmers and pubs, they're starting to group together and stand up, and hopefully they'll be able to lobby for that change and to be able to continue the growth in the industry.
Isabel Fekulak, thank you so much for joining us this morning. So great to hear that insight from a hairdressing salon, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It certainly is. A poor lady there, she probably thought she was going for a nice quiet haircut today, and GB News has showed up. You never know. You never know where we'll be, will you? Look, we've got some lovely pictures you've been sending us and videos this morning from the weather where you are. Lucy in Bridge North in West Midlands has sent us this. Beautiful. Oh, it's stunning. I love it.
And what a gorgeous dog as well, just at the bottom of the screens there. We've had this in from John in Leicester. Is that rain or is that sleet? I can't tell.
I was going to say.
There is snow on the ground, isn't there?
Yeah, there certainly is. And Linda sent this in from Derby. Let's have a look. Did you get Linda? There we go. Beautiful. I love it. I love it when it snows. I think we get so little of it. I think we lose our minds in Britain over weather, don't we? Call things like weather bomb and
the weather
bomb, the snow bomb. We just get crazy about it, don't we? But actually, this is quite common. It happens almost every single year.
Yeah.
And we just get used to it.
Really rather
fuss
beautiful.
about. Maybe a bit old-fashioned.
No, I agree. Now, still ahead, we'll have the latest travel advice after Storm Gretty has battered Britain overnight. You don't want to miss it. This is Britain's Newsroom here on GB News.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning, time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Not quite the calm after the storm. Storm Gretty is slowly clearing away, though, through the day today. Still pretty wet and pretty cold across parts of the east. Still a number of Met Office warnings remain in place for snow and ice and some heavy rain across parts of eastern England too. Feeling pretty grotty in these eastern areas where a mix of rain, sleet and snow will continue to fall, accompanied by a pretty chilly wind. A further covering snow possible in places. A few wintry showers coming into Wales, but generally things improving and calming down here. Many areas across northern England, central Scotland will be dry, but still pretty cold in most parts. Temperatures may get to 7 or 8 in the southwest. Across Scotland, temperatures getting a few degrees above freezing. Still a few wintry showers, but as I say, many places here will have a largely dry day. Not much to melt the snow that's still lying, however. Things turning clear and frosty across Northern Ireland quite quickly through this evening, so again could turn icy. Still a few wintry showers over the hills and mountains of Wales, and still pretty wet across these eastern counties of England. Really cold as the rain, sleet and snow continues to slowly pull away here during the evening. As it does so, everything could freeze up overnight, so a continued risk of ice on untreated surfaces. Generally clear skies, though, across this central slice of the country, allowing temperatures to dip down to freezing, certainly a few degrees below in rural spots, especially where there's snow lying on the ground. Now, for many, Saturday is an okay day, certainly the driest and brightest of this current spell. Not completely dry, still be some showers feeding into parts of Wales with snow on the hills and mountains. 1 or 2 showers still perhaps across eastern parts of England and northern Scotland. But for many, Saturday is going to be dry and bright. There'll be some sunshine, but still on the chilly side with temperatures in many places not much above 3 or 4 Celsius. Bye for now.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's a brand new year and we're giving you the chance to win our biggest cash prize to date.
£85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours.
And we've come to the Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland to celebrate.
An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray,
Are you a human trafficker?
boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Well, good morning. It's 11 a.m. on Friday, the 9th of January. We are live across the United Kingdom. This is Britain's Newsroom with Alex Armstrong and Sophie Reaper.
Storm Goretti smashes Britain with snow, ice and 100-mile-per-hour winds, leaving tens of thousands of people without power and causing chaos on the roads. We've got our reporters nationwide.
Those power outages really struggling, really making a struggle for those people living outwards in Shropshire. Here in the rest of the Midlands, schools are closed, railway lines are cancelling trains, and of course the airport had suspended overnight but is now up and running. And in this hour, we'll reveal the GB News snowman.
And are we about to see the 10th U-turn from this Labour government? This time it's over tax hikes on pubs. Well, hairdressers are now demanding the same reprieve, and we'll be popping over to a salon very shortly.
That is why we've made these defence commitments. We are living in a more volatile world. I think everybody in the country accepts that.
Elsewhere, a top defence chief warns Britain's army faces a £28 billion funding gap. Meanwhile, the PM pledges to deploy troops to Ukraine for a peacekeeping deal.
Unrest in Iran. A nationwide internet blackout follows almost 2 weeks of anti-regime protests. The principal deputy spokesperson for the Department of State spoke to The Late Show Live.
This is something they brought on themselves. You have seen many, many years of a regime in Iran that ignored the well-being of their own people.
Britain threatens to ban Elon Musk's X over its AI tool Grok, creating sexualised images of women and children.
Block it like Beckham. We'll tell you why Brooklyn Beckham tells his parents, David and Victoria, to only contact him through his lawyers. Well, what are you doing? Are you at home today? Have you managed to get into work? Has there been chaos for you where you are? Send in your views to us, gbnews.com/yours. So you got down here all right, didn't you, Sophie?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Bit of trouble on the M1, but other than that, I'm really hoping that my journey back's going to be just as smooth, to be honest. But we'll see. I think the only trouble I might get is just around the Midlands. I'll have to go through nearly where Jack Carson is for us making snowmen. So fingers crossed I can avoid the worst of that.
Pick him up if he's getting
I
stuck
know,
over
exactly,
there. You never
if he
know.
gets snowed in.
There you go. That's your lift home sorted. Jack. When people work from home on snow days like this as well, we tend to dress down a little bit, don't we? And today, Sophie has decided, well, it's not a work from home day, but she's gone in slippers anyway. Have a look at these. Have a look at these beauties.
There I am.
What? Look at those beauties. There they are, looking comfy.
It's got to be done. I mean, I said this in the last hour when you forced me to put my feet on the television again. Obviously, I'm still recovering from an operation. I'm past the moon boot stage, past that stage, but I can't get into me heels I'd usually wear. So slippers it is for the foreseeable, but there we go.
Any excuse, isn't it? Any excuse.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be keeping that excuse for the foreseeable future, actually, because it's so much more comfortable.
It looks like it is. Right, listen, get your views in gbnews.com/your say. But before we get stuck in, here's your news with Tatiana Sanchez.
Thank you very much. The top stories this morning. Storm Goretti continues to batter the UK, with tens of thousands of Britons across the country facing widespread power cuts, travel disruption and school closures. Around 44,000 properties across the UK remain without power after the storm brought 99-mile-per-hour winds and heavy snowfall. Yellow weather warnings for snow and ice have been extended now into Saturday for large parts of Scotland, England and Northern Ireland. A section of the M1 has been closed between junction 28 Mansfield and junction 29 Chesterfield after a lorry crash early this morning. And now at least 69 flights scheduled to operate to or from Heathrow Airport today have been cancelled. The government's decision to backtrack and provide new financial support for pubs is a sign of its strength and confidence, a senior Labour figure has claimed. Anna Turley, chairwoman of the Labour Party, said she doesn't buy this as a U-turn, adding it's actually about listening. High street businesses have called on the government to expand business rate relief plans beyond pubs, following reports of the impending U-turn. The Treasury is understood to be preparing a support package for the pub industry, due to be announced in the coming days, following an outcry over the impact of a major hike in rates. The Shadow Business Secretary, Andrew Griffith, spoke to GB News this morning.
Conservative Party has laid out a plan to save £23 billion on welfare, get more people off the welfare rolls and into work. That's how you really make a difference, get our economy moving. The government won't do that. They won't make those tough choices. Every question that's ever posed to them is spend more of other people's money. So that's why they've got into this hamster wheel of dreaming up more and more taxes every budget, and the burden falls on businesses, on our high streets. You can see it with the businesses that are closing down, insolvency, the short hours, having to let people go. They don't understand business. They don't really understand how to run an economy. The only thing they understand is how to spend other people's money.
Iranian state media has claimed terrorist agents from the US and Israel have set fires and sparked violence on the streets. Iran's government initiated a nationwide internet blackout late last night, which extended into today, according to internet monitoring group NetBlocks. The blackout also applied to international phone calls. Demonstrations first began in Tehran last month, triggered by a sharp slide in the value of the real currency, but have since spread across Iran. In an interview yesterday, the US president said he'll hit Iran very hard if they start killing protesters. At least 21 people, including security forces, have been killed since the demonstrations began, according to local media reports. Officials say 2 people have been wounded in a shooting involving US federal agents in Portland and Oregon. The city's police department said in a statement that a man and a woman had been taken to hospital. Their conditions were unknown. The Department of Homeland Security said the incident happened at 2:19 p.m. local time, with the traffic stop of a Venezuelan gang member who allegedly attempted to run over agents with his car. The incident comes the day after a federal agent fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis, triggering protests around the US against federal law enforcement operations in the US cities. Elon Musk's platform X has limited age editing with its AI tool Grok to paying users after it came under fire for allowing people to make sexualized deepfakes. There's been a significant backlash after the chatbot honoured requests from users to digitally alter images of other people by undressing them without their consent. But Grok is now telling people asking it to make such material that only paid subscribers would be able to do so, meaning their name and payment information must be on file. Those who do not subscribe can still use Grok to edit images on its separate app and website. And the Princess of Wales is celebrating her 44th birthday, the day after making a surprise appearance to show support for under-pressure NHS staff. Princess Catherine visited Charing Cross Hospital with the Prince of Wales on Thursday as the pair carried out their first public engagement of the year. The Princess's birthday today falls just days before the first anniversary of her announcement at the start of 2025 that she was in remission from cancer. In the final instalment of Kensington Palace's quarterly Mother Nature series, Princess Kate said the cold season has a way of bringing stillness, patience and quiet consideration.
In the coldest, darkest season, winter has a way of bringing us stillness, patience and quiet consideration. Where the stream slows just enough for us to see our own reflection.
Those are the latest GB News headlines. For now, more news in half an hour.
Cheers Britannia Wine Club proudly sponsors the GB News Financial Report.
Here's a quick snapshot of today's markets. The pound will buy you $1.3410 and 1.1517 euros. The price of gold is £3,335.61 per ounce, and the FTSE 100 is at 10,085 points.
Cheers Britannia Wine Club proudly sponsors the GB News Financial Report.
Very good morning to you. The time is 8 minutes past 11 and this is Britain's Newsroom.
Indeed it is. Let's see what you've been saying here on Your Say. What have we got here? John says, I can't go out on the snow. I've got holes in my shoes because of this government.
Wow.
There you go.
Lots of people saying no snow where they are, though. Joe says, nice slippers, Sophie. You should get Alex a matching pair. Let him relax a bit.
What do you think? I think I'd pull
in
them off. Yeah, in pink. Why not?
Yeah, they are very comfortable. And actually, someone said earlier, though, for even more comfort and warmth, snow boots.
Snow boots?
Like slipper boots, you know, the ones that go up your ankle. Not like for skiing.
Wasn't that what Uggs are?
Oh, other brands are available.
I didn't know that. I just thought it was
No, like, you can get slipper boots that go all the way up your ankle.
You're going to take a look at my tie and you can see how good I am at this. Lots of you writing in about Hungary as well. How nice Hungary looks. Moving traffic, roads, paths cleared of snow, clean buildings too. Of course, Miriam Cates is there in Hungary. She'll be going to the border shortly, so stay tuned for that as well. One here, Glenn says, what a pathetic country we've become. A little bit of bad weather and everything is catastrophised. I can't pronounce my words today. By weather channels and news channels. I understand that. I do understand, but it is impacting so many millions of people today, which is why we're talking about this. And there are millions of people who will be stuck at home as a result of it. And it's going to be different everywhere in the country. Yeah. However, I do get what Glyn's saying there. I do think we go a little bit overboard, don't we? The media in general, we love talking about the weather, don't we?
Well, we love looking at the weather as well.
We do.
I just want to read one quick comment out from Simon, who's just written in, and I just want to caveat the final word of this. He says, don't worry about the slippers. A friend of mine who was a newsreader or announcer on Turkish television always wore a suit top or dinner jacket in the evenings. When he stood up off air, he was wearing shorts and thongs. Now, I imagine thongs is the Australian word for flip-flops in that situation. Because otherwise it wouldn't be plural.
Right.
So I imagine he means a pair of shorts and some flip-flops.
I've got you.
Some sandals. We're OK.
Nice
but
catch.
There we go. Thank you, Simon. You've given me a full excuse to wear slippers for the foreseeable. Thank you very much.
Maybe I'll wear some thongs.
That's a whole other situation.
Right, let's talk more about the weather, shall we? Storm Goretti's left a trail of destruction overnight, apparently.
An amber alert was in place this morning for large parts of Wales, the Midlands and Yorkshire.
Well, GB News national reporter Jack Carson joins us now from Dudley. Jack, what's the scenes like where you are? Are you able to move around relatively well there, or are you snowed in?
I hope you're not wearing thongs one way or another.
Well, I have slipped over, I will admit that, and there is footage of it, so maybe some viewers will be lucky to see that a little bit later on. But here where we are in Dudley, the whole place is blanketed in snow, and it's quite deep snow as well. If you look at where I've just been standing and just how deep some of this snow goes. Of course, we were in parts of the Midlands expecting upwards of 30 centimetres of snow because of Storm Goretti sweeping the nation last night. There was hours and hours of consistent snowfall, and now the disruption we're seeing this morning because of it in Shropshire, it could be about 7 to 10,000 homes currently dealing with power outages because of power lines going down and other issues, and the snow and the weather itself, and that disruption from the weather is causing the actual efforts to try and get that power back up and running. It's causing those national grid engineers a little bit of trouble this morning as well. Overnight, Birmingham Airport had to suspend flights. They've now been able to clear the runway, reopen that, so that some flights are able to start flying, departing, and of course arriving into Birmingham Airport. But of course, check with your airline, before you travel, to make sure that your flight is still going ahead if you are going from Birmingham Airport today here in the West Midlands. Elsewhere, West Midlands trains are just urging a complete do not travel warning until this afternoon at the earliest. They said the conditions mean they're unable to get their trains going. It's too unsafe, and they're not even able to put on replacement bus services because of how bad the conditions are on roads across the Midlands. Snow ploughs have been out, gritters have been out, as well as the tractors as well. And just before we go, why don't we reveal to you, as we said in the last hour we would, our GB News snowman, and maybe the Your Say viewers can come up with a name for it today.
Amazing work.
Fabulous. And can I just say, Jack, we have in fact got that footage of you, I believe, so we'll be showing that later on in the programme.
No.
So you'll want to stay tuned to see our one and only Jack Carson taking a tumble a little bit later on.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Jack. Well, we've got another national reporter with us, Will Godley, joining us from Wales. Will, how are you doing over there in Wales?
Well, Alex, Sophie, good morning to you. Yeah, from Newtown here in Wales, where you can see on the roads behind me, now we're in Newtown. Are being gritted much clearer, and we've been able to get out of the snow ourselves. We, of course, were stuck overnight like many people have been. You can see this has been a car parked here overnight. They didn't want to brave the weather, and they parked up and walked into town on foot, as did Frank here. And Frank's out and about with a spade today because you were stuck yourself. What happened?
I was stuck yesterday. I mean, when I was coming, I finished earlier on. But I mean, when I was coming, I got on a hill, but I mean, I couldn't get through. So all I had to do was just to come back, and I phoned my supervisor. So I mean, she came to, rescue me. So I had to just sleep in the house yesterday night.
And you've got a spade here.
I've got a spade here.
And you've been helping other people now who have been stuck. I've just seen you help someone parked here, get out and about, get out of the snow. Yeah. How come you're wanting to help people?
I mean, you know, the world is a very better place. You know, we're helping each other, and I mean, that's how I see it. So yeah. Yeah.
And what are some of the issues? We've got the spade here. The roads have been gritted, but yesterday perhaps they weren't enough because you were stuck, weren't you?
Yeah, I was stuck yesterday, and I mean, I was able. I mean, I saw some people yesterday with the farmers. They helped me with their tractors. So I was like, you know, why don't I also, help someone? Yeah.
Well, it's a great deed what you're doing, Frank. Thanks for joining us on GB News. He's helping people out who are stuck here, but the temperature's warming up, the snow melting here, so hopefully as that continues, fewer people will be stuck.
Well, Will, a lot of our audience is saying you need to buy yourself a pair of gloves. You can tell you're a southerner, can't you? Come unprepared for the treacherous weather outside the London bubble. Oh, he's got a pair. There he is.
Get him on. Get him
on, Will.
I've got
audience
some gloves
are going
here,
nuts.
but they're all wet. So they're making my hands even colder.
Waterproof, Will. Come on. Be ready for January and Feb with those.
All right.
Well, one lady who I know will be prepared because she lives in the north like I do is our one and only Yorkshire and Humber reporter, Anna Riley. She's joining us now. There she is. How warm are you, Anna?
Good morning, Sophie and Alex. I've got my gloves on. Haven't quite resorted to the scarf yet. It's certainly warmer here, around 3 or 4 degrees. I was in Scarborough on Monday in the snow and it was sort of minus conditions there. So it is feeling warmer later into the week. And the snow is melting here. Plenty of grit as well on the footpath where I am here near Sheffield Station. National rail warning of disruption across the rail networks across Britain due to Storm Goretti. Here at Sheffield, the line has been closed. Trains have been stopped between Sheffield and Manchester due to the storm, and they're not due to resume until tomorrow. And there's no rail replacement services on either. Speaking to rail staff here, they've said that they will honour the tickets of people who want to go on the trains today to go another day. Elsewhere, they can swap in Leeds as well to try and get on to Manchester. So one of the lines here in Sheffield affected, but also rail disruption across the Britain because of the weather.
Anna Riley, stay warm. Thanks for reporting for us there. Well, listen, we're moving on a little bit now because Labour have been accused of backing cousin marriage after stalling on a private member's bill seeking to ban the practice.
Indeed. Now, Shadow Minister Richard Holden has accused the government of turning a blind eye after today's scheduled second reading vote was blocked. We can speak to Shadow Secretary of State for Transport, Richard Holden, now. Richard, thank you for joining us this morning. Now, first cousin marriage is a common practice in places like the Middle East, North Africa, South Asia, but I know you've got a lot of concerns about it taking place here in Great Britain. What are some of your concerns that led you to putting that bill in?
Yeah, so three real concerns, really. One is that obviously there's the health implications of it, but also the fact that it's quite clear to me that especially when it goes on from generation to generation to generation, we're also seeing almost clan structures being formed, people unable to get out of them. And it's pretty clear that the impact that has on individual freedom is also really strong too. So I think right across the board, this is not something that we want to see widespread in this country. And it's something that I just think that, we need to see the government take some action on, which is why I put the legislation forwards. They're not allowing any more Fridays for private members' bills at the moment. So it looks like it's going to be at least after the King's speech before we can start this fight in Parliament again.
Richard, is there a reason why Labour seem a little bit reticent here to do something about first cousin marriage? A lot of social commentary online is pointing to the fact that Labour might want these votes from people, particularly in places like Bradford, for example, where there's a large Pakistani community. It's a high practice rate in the Pakistani community, and some of those seats, Labour looks like it could be losing to sectarian votes. Is it perhaps they just want to avoid this topic? They don't want to lose the voters?
Well, I think there's definitely a real issue here. I think the truth is that there is a real divide in Labour on this. There's some people who know it's the right thing to do to ban it. But I think the political masters overall are basically saying, no, we can't touch this. When I introduced it in the House of Commons, I had one of the independent MPs fighting against it, speaking against it in Parliament, which is very clear. Labour I think the last thing Labour want is to actually have to face this issue down. But I tell you now, if we don't face this issue down, we don't get it sorted out, actually we'll just perpetuate the problems. And I want to see these problems solved, and I want to see problems sorted. And it's quite clear that this government just isn't up to doing that.
Shadow Secretary of State for Transport, Richard Holden, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, GB News has contacted the Labour Party for a response, but they're yet to receive a reply on that. So we'll be bringing you that later if we do get it.
Yeah, right, time now for the Great British Giveaway, and time's ticking on your chance to become our biggest cash prize winner to date. It's 85 grand. Here are all the details you're going to need.
There's just 3 weeks left to grab your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to make 2026 the year of yes. That's yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to making all of those dreams come true this year. What would you spend all of that cash on? 2026 could be the year you spend more time spending, with an incredible £85,000 in your bank. Just make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 9th of February. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good luck for that. And up next, we'll reveal the findings of a new study that shows your dog may be eavesdropping on your conversations.
We'll be going through that and more with the intelligent, loyal, golden Labrador-esque Dr. Renee and the pug, Jonathan Liss. This is Britain's News on GB News.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning to you. The time is 25 minutes past 11 and this is Britain's Newsroom with Alex and Sophie.
All right, joining us in the studio, GPN commentator Dr Renee Honderkamp and political commentator Jonathan Liss. Is that what they call you, political commentator, is it?
Let's not get this into it straight away. Give him his job title.
I'm trying to wind you up, Jonathan. It's so easy. Should we start with... Well, I thought you were a journalist. Should we start with... Yeah, I was going to say...
It's more than you are, mate.
He's already upset.
Hearing me.
I'm on a piece of you.
Right, listen, let's get on to the story.
Let's talk about the news.
Let's talk about the news. What's going on with Grog? Why do you want to ban it, Jonathan? Are you and Keir Starmer collaborating to destroy free speech in Britain?
So I'd have thought that you'd be against child sex images, Alex, because what Grok is doing is allowing people I think today any user could ask to undress images of people, including children. Now I think most of us can agree on the panel that's not a great thing, and actually it's not a great thing to undress anyone without their consent, whether real or AI. And so this is clearly a problem. There are all kinds of safeguarding issues at stake here, and so Starmer and the government have quite reasonably said to Musk and Grok that you have to sort this out because this runs foul of broadcasting and also general laws in this country.
Now, I have to say I completely agree with you. Sorry to interrupt you, but the thing that really got me with this was there's an actress in Stranger Things, Nell Fisher, who is like 12, 13. She's very young. And she, since the Stranger Things finale last week, she has had so many people, whether they're bot accounts or not, using Grok to get images of her in micro bikinis, you know, covered in sellotape, gagged even, I saw one. And that, to me, is a real problem.
I think it's important to caveat, and I'll come over to you on this, Dr Renee, it's important to caveat they're not really them. It's a digital...
No, of course.
Yeah. Just want to make sure...
I think it's always important to separate the fact that obviously, if you undress an image, no one is physically being abused. It's not saying it's actually... But it is incredibly distressing, and there are people who will look at that...
No, but it's actually more than that.
But there's more to the story, in my opinion. Go on.
So there's more than that, because what this does, this feeds into the pornographic society that we now have. We have children now, because of smartphones, that have these images, that have porn in their pockets. It is warping minds about women, about what sex is, about what relationships are. It is absolutely disgusting. So there's two things here. Of course, Grok should not have the ability to do this. And I'm a free speech advocate. This is not free speech, this is abuse. There's a difference between the two. But also, it should say to parents, don't put porn in your children's pockets, because that's what you do when you give them a smartphone.
Can I make an interesting point here? Because people have had access to Photoshop. No, hang on, hear me out. Because people have had access to Photoshop and they've digitally done this for a very long period of time. But also, the government seems to be very much on top of Twitter here, rather than worrying. They're talking about deepfakes in general. We don't talk about TikTok, we don't talk about Facebook, we don't talk about Instagram, and there's plenty of nonsense all all over. There's people who are literally having their reputations destroyed because of deepfakes on those platforms.
Alex,
why are the Labour government focusing on X?
Instagram doesn't allow sexually explicit content, and it certainly doesn't allow sexually explicit content, AI-generated images of children, for example. TikTok, as I understand it, doesn't have a Grok feature where you can do these kinds of things.
But you can
Twitter
upload the
X does.
deepfakes from some of the companies that create, like Google, ChatGPT.
But Musk is the owner of the platform that actually allows people to make these images, and that is why the government's asking them to stop.
But my point is this: why they're not going after, I don't know, the Sam Altmans who run OpenAI, who create ChatGPT? Why they're not going after those people as well? Because their deepfakes are also pretty bad.
If ChatGPT is allowing people to do this, absolutely, the government should
but that's the
be
question.
asking ChatGPT.
Why are they not going after the other companies too?
Well,
I think it's an ease question for me, because all you need to do is log on to Twitter, see a picture of a woman or a child or a man even, and reply at Grok and ask for this thing, and that is what makes it really easy. And automatically then it's in the public domain, it's accessible by anyone in the world with an X account.
I think this highlights exactly what Alex is saying, is we are going to reach a point, we're probably very close to it, where we cannot believe anything that we see or watch because we don't know. And I have to say that Instagram is full of AI rubbish now. When we're looking for stuff for the show on Saturday, we don't know sometimes if what we found is real or not. So this is a big warning sound, and it should be for all of these companies. The problem that we have is that the government, and the Conservative government were the same, the government were deep and are deep in the pockets of these tech billionaires. That is why they are hesitant to go after any of them. That is why they are hesitant to ban smartphone use for children. We have to stop following the money, and we have to think about safety of women, children, girls, men.
But you know, there's a broader point here as well, which is that Elon Musk has completely gone rogue. If you look at some of the things he has just been tweeting out in the last couple of days, someone said that white people need to defend themselves from invasion, and he says 100%. He's posting out and out neo-Nazi stuff. And I think it's a problem when the richest man in the world, who owns one of the biggest social media platforms in the world, is an unabashed neo-Nazi.
Look, I think calling him a neo-Nazi is totally ludicrous. I don't know what planet you're living on, calling him a neo-Nazi. Do you know what Nazism is, Jonathan? Because, you know, I think if you compared him to Hitler and the SS, I mean, of course, you may not like what he has to say, but he's entitled to say it is his platform. You don't have to use it.
He's entitled to say whatever he likes, and I'm entitled to find it absolutely horrid.
But calling him a Nazi is...
I'm saying that do you
understand that when you throw around these terms like Nazi and far right and all this stuff, that actually it takes away the meaning of people who really are Nazis and really are far right, because actually then you're
saying that some of the stuff I can read it out to you if you want, and you can tell me if it's acceptable or not.
Well, I'm not
there's a difference between a comment being acceptable or not and referring to them
I'm not saying he should be censored either.
I don't agree with that.
I'm not saying he should be censored either. I'm saying it's a problem when the leader, when one of the most powerful people in the world, who owns this platform that the government is currently at war with, is also at the same time posting stuff that is deeply white nationalist.
Did you have a problem when Twitter was when it was previously Twitter and the CEO and the board there were collaborating with the FBI and the CIA to block accounts and to censor people during COVID?
I didn't think that people should be censored, no.
No, so this is the thing.
But that is not the same as posting.
And I was one of those people.
Well, I don't believe in censorship in general, and actually my position is quite consistent. And I don't think that Elon Musk should be censored either. What I do think is a problem when the government is failing to stand up to these people and allowing him to break our laws, which are meant to protect people.
Dr. Rennie, very briefly, do you think that the government deliberately are going after Elon Musk though? And this is going back to the point I was saying that all these other companies are complicit in this deepfake issue, and they are never targeted. Elon Musk seems to be targeted, but he's one of the most outspoken. At least you know what he thinks. These other people do backroom deals with our governments, and we don't know what they think about
I think without a doubt the government detests Elon Musk because he's given people a platform to say things about the government that they don't want them to say. There is no doubt about that. They detest him. But I think, once again, they're actually sitting on the fence and they're going to get splinters in their bum because they are demonstrating visceral hatred for one particular guy, and some of it may be well justified, but not, as you rightly say, going after the others. And this AI business is massive, but it's about 5 people. They could go after 5 people.
Yep, totally agree.
Well, another heated debate here in
Always
the studio.
fun, though. Thanks, Di. Always
Absolutely.
fun.
Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll have lots more still to come, but first, here's your 60-second news update with the lovely Tatiana Sanchez.
Sophie, thank you very much and good morning. The top story, Storm Goretti continues to batter the UK with tens of thousands of Britons across the country facing widespread power cuts, travel disruption and school closures. In other news, the government's decision to backtrack and provide new financial support for pubs is a sign of its strength and confidence, a senior Labour figure has claimed. Anna Turley, the chairwoman of the Labour Party, said she doesn't buy this as a U-turn. She added that this is actually about listening. And Iranian state media has claimed terrorist agents from the US and Israel have set fires and sparked violence on the streets. Iran's government initiated a nationwide internet blackout late last night, which extended into today, according to internet monitoring group NetBlocks. Those are the latest GB News headlines. For now, more news from me in half an hour.
Take the GB News family with you on any device. As long as you have an internet connection, tune into GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond.
All right, up at noon. Good afternoon, Britain, with Tom and Dawn. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Always a pleasure to see you on Friday. Any whiteboard coming? When's the whiteboard coming back?
Yes.
That's a really good idea. Well, it's a bit of a whiteout in parts of the country, so we might need to get the whiteboard out.
Very nice.
Very good.
Yeah, we can do white snowmen, stickmen like you did last time
You were
on a
obsessed with my
whiteboard.
drawing of stickmen.
Yeah.
It was quite entertaining, to be fair.
So we are talking about the weather, like everyone's talking about the weather, obviously. And we've also got a cracking story about the Muslim country that's banned its students coming to the UK in case they get radicalised in the UK. This is a Muslim country worried about how kids coming over here could be radicalised by radical Islam. So that's a cracking story.
It's something that people have been talking about for some time, because there are lots of countries. I mean, this is the UAE that we're talking about here. But also, I mean, Jordan, for instance, has very strict rules on what sort of Islam is allowed to be going on. It regulates its mosques. It doesn't want any sort of extremism in its country. It's a moderate Muslim country. And then you look over to some of the mosques in this country, to some of the things that are said, the outrageous sort of things that are said, and some of the mosques that are funded by, for example, the Iranian regime, or all of this sort of stuff. You can see why some moderate Muslim countries are thinking, goodness me, Britain's a bit of an extremist hellhole.
It's insane that we're in a position where they're worried about sending their children to Britain.
In case they get radicalised.
It is so... People... And this is why I keep saying to them, wake up to the problem. And our politicians just seem to sit on this issue. And we wait, and we you know, bad things happen, and then we go, oh, well, you know, condolences, and then we forget about it, and then the cycle repeats.
Talking of which, we're also talking about the Hungarian border and how Hungary is controlling its borders, and we're... Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Not.
Are you speaking to Miriam Cates about that?
You might be speaking to Miriam.
I have been to that border. It is exceptionally impressive.
Yes.
Exceptionally impressive.
And yet, because Hungary put up these border controls, they've had sanctions from the European Union, they've had money withheld from them.
£1 million, I think Miriam told us earlier, didn't she? It's cost them.
A day.
A day, yeah.
A day.
No, it's extraordinary. We've also got a digital whiz kid coming on the programme who has created a website where you can search your local pubs to see how much trouble your local pubs are in.
Oh, wow.
Exactly what their tax is going up. You'll be able to see which pubs near you are sort of doing OK and which ones have sometimes 500% tax increases.
And how many pints you're going to need to help that pub. I love that idea.
And Tom in a mankini, and I need a lot of pints for that.
Right.
Me.
OK.
First we had you in a thong, and now we've got Tom in a mankini.
It's going to be a very interesting show if it carries on this way. But listen, thank you both. We look forward to your show. Be careful out there as well, because Storm Goretti has battered Britain, supposedly, leaving snow and ice in its wake. We'll tell you how much longer this cold snap is going to last next.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. Storm Goretti is moving away to the east, but the disruption is still ongoing from heavy snow and the strong winds from last night. Storm Goretti is here on the pressure pattern moving away to eastern areas of England, but still we will see some heavy rain affecting many eastern areas. Parts of East Anglia and Lincolnshire have a rain warning in force for much of today. Elsewhere, it is going to be a drier picture, but we're still cleaning up from the disruption from last night, particularly across parts of the Midlands. Much of that snow will start to thaw, but it could refreeze again into this evening, bringing a risk of ice. And it is going to be a chilly day wherever you are, particularly across northern areas. There's very little in the way of sunshine away from Northern Ireland. And the clearer skies for Northern Ireland will bring a risk of frost and ice quite early on this evening. For parts of Scotland, snow showers will continue through this afternoon, bringing a risk of further accumulations and some icy stretches through this evening. As we look further south into northern areas of England, dry for many, but many high ground areas seeing further snow showers, as well as across parts of Wales into the southwest, further showers. But the winds will be much lighter than they were last night, and that means it's going to be a colder night where we see skies become clear across this central slither of the UK. Temperatures could fall down into minus double digits, particularly where there's any lying snow. And as I said, once that snow that did fall last night starts to thaw, it will refreeze tonight, bringing a risk of icy stretches for parts of Wales into the Midlands. Also risk of ice for Northern Ireland and many areas of Scotland as well. So potentially a pretty treacherous start to the day on Saturday, but there will be more in the way of sunshine on Saturday. Saturday is definitely going to be the better day of the weekend, particularly for many northern areas, many areas seeing sunny skies through the day, but another chilly one. To the south, a mix of cloudy skies, perhaps a few showers here and there.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Alex and Sophie.
Now, be careful out there as Storm Goretti has been battering Britain, leaving snow and ice in its wake. Oh, no.
Can we replay
is our fabulous Jack Carson demonstrated in Dudley there for us.
I need a replay. I need a replay as soon as possible.
Action replay, please.
Yeah.
We'll have this in slow-mo.
Yeah.
This is just fabulous. Come on, let's see that again.
Let's just see it one more time. There it goes.
Oh,
very graceful there, wasn't he?
Good Can I tell you, he's with a cameraman today called Ollie Costello, right?
Yeah.
And last January, I did a snow story with Ollie Costello, and he also filmed me falling over.
We should get a compilation of you lot falling over on the job.
Ready and primed to catch us reporters as we make a fool of ourselves.
It doesn't come without hazards.
Thanks very much, Ollie. Thanks. I hope Jack's OK anyway.
He's all right. He's all right. All right, well, look, an amber alert was in place this morning for large parts of Wales, the Midlands and Yorkshire. And joining us now is John Ketley to tell us more. John, when is this cold snap going to end? When will people be able to get back to work and back to their normal lives?
I think everything will be normal again by Monday, actually, Alex, because it's going to get much milder for the start of next week. But let me say, I went to school in the 60s. I didn't miss a single day because of snow, and I was brought up in the Pennines. So things seem to have changed over the past decades. Of course, we've had some pretty brutal weather. It was nasty, very, very nasty in the southwest yesterday evening. That gust of 99 miles an hour in the Isles of Scilly, and it's been very stormy since then. Down through the Channel Islands, and some snow that Jack's found as well, and some quite tricky conditions out on the roads and travel disruption as well. So it has been very nasty. It is Goretti. It's on the way now into Holland, and so it is slowly blowing itself out. It's still quite breezy. It's cold. It's obviously raw today, and still some bands of sleety rain coming in across the country on that north wind. But things will change. It'll be icy tonight under clearing skies, so a very cold start to the weekend. But then plenty of sunshine to come on Saturday, and then on Sunday we'll start to see bands of rain moving in from the west. So it's a big change to come as we go through the weekend into the start of next week. I'm not sure when the next snow is going to be. Actually, after this, it looks like we're into a fairly normal spell of typical British wintry weather, really.
John, can I ask a question that's really been bothering me? This is obviously, this storm was named by the French Meteorological Society, or whatever their name might be. I'm used to our storms being named by the Met Office. Why was this storm in particular? Why are we going with the French name on this? Is there a particular reason that this one's named in France?
Very rarely do the British seem to name their storms. They always seem to pass it on to somebody else. But I can see why on this occasion, because the stormiest weather has actually gone into France. The centre of the storm has actually pushed across the south coast of England in the past 12 to 18 hours. So in a way, it's only given us a casting blow, a glancing blow, you could say. So really, I can understand why the French have named it, but the British seem to always stand back and let somebody else do the work. But there's nothing wrong with that. I suppose we could share the same name if we wanted to. But I think it's about time that we did start to see our own name storms affecting the UK. I have to say that this Goretti is actually a long way south for a British winter storm. Normally they're much further up across the country. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why we passed it on to the near continent.
John, we see a lot of social commentary about the weather. Of course, we're British, we talk about the weather, we love talking about it. I want to know, is it unusual? I think I know the answer to this, but I'd love for you to tell me. Is it unusual to have storms of this scale at this time of year?
Absolutely not, Alex. We don't get we do get big storms. We do get these severe gales, storm force winds from time to time, usually once a year, once a winter. And it was always like this, but I think these days we're not seeing the amounts of snow that we did when I was growing up, for example. And even as recently as, the 2018 beast from the east came out of the blue. You need to go back to 2010 when it was particularly cold. We had some heavy snow at the beginning of the year in 2010, and then again in December. That was a record-breaking cold and snowy month, really, so early in the season. So those sort of things, those sort of events are becoming much rarer. And now when we get a bit of snow, say 3 or 4 inches, it really is the end of the world for some people. We just hunker down and decide to stay at home. Well, I'm all for that. I've been doing that for years. But no, Alex, to answer your question, it isn't that unusual, but we don't get the snow like we used to do.
Yeah. Do you know what, John? I have to say, I kind of love it, really. I really do. Yeah. And I know we make a big fuss about these things every single year. They always happen. We always pretend like it's the first time it's ever happened in Britain and that it's some sort of exceptional event. And, thank you for coming on and helping assert that I was correct, that this is a normal thing to happen at this time of year, that the climate craziness isn't getting to me. John Ketley.
You're always correct, Alex. You're always right.
Thank you. Well, what a legend.
Don't say that.
It's going to go to my head. John Ketley, thank you very much for joining us.
Jack Carson's just fallen over hearing that being said to you.
There you go. Exactly.
He's in such shock hearing that Alex is always right. He's fallen over.
That might have been Jonathan Lisson in another life. You never know. Up next, the Beckhams are at war. The eldest son of Sir David and Victoria has taken a formal step to limit communication with his family.
But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun to escape the snow that Jack Carson's facing, here's the forecast for some of your top European holiday destinations.
You're looking happy.
Well, the forecast looks good.
So you've sorted the travel insurance then?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
It's not much warmer across the Mediterranean compared to the UK at the moment, thanks to a brisk wind, which is bringing plenty of showers to Greece and Croatia during Saturday. Certainly some snow over the mountains across the southeastern corner of Europe. Some snow over the mountains of Italy as well. Further north across Italy, some sunshine, largely fine conditions for Spain and Portugal. Snow over the Pyrenees and generally sunny spells in the Canaries. That'll continue into Sunday and Monday.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
I'm Michelle Dewberry. This is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here. GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device.
And as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, Parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Welcome back. The time is 10 to 12. We're being joined now by our GB News entertainment editor, Alex Davis. Alex, we believe there's some more drama going on with the Beckhams. What can you tell us?
Yes, the Beckham family has been at sort of a civil war for the past year or so, mainly revolving around eldest son Brooklyn. He's been absent from a number of family events, from Sir David being knighted, Victoria's Netflix series launch, a number of birthdays. But we've now discovered that he wants to cut off ties even further. He sent his parents a legal request to only go through their solicitors to speak with him, basically. Apparently, he was getting rather irked with the number of social media interactions and gestures on Instagram during such a tumultuous time for the family. He now only wants it to go through their solicitors, doesn't want to speak to his parents. Again, the reasons for the fallout haven't been made public. There are numerous theories on the internet, wherever you look, but this is the latest pretty unprecedented development.
Certainly is, Alex. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things that they all got too much money. That's my opinion, Alex. That's what I think. I don't know. Maybe some would disagree. Maybe they're poor to some people. Who knows? You're poor to someone, aren't you? Always poor to someone. Alex Davis, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really good fun, Sophie.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. It's been really, really good fun, hasn't it?
Thank you for getting me through, and as I come out the other end of this flu.
Yeah, and you're going to buy me a pair of slippers for the next time you're hosting.
Yes, although someone said not slippers, earmuffs.
Oh, right. Well, OK. Well, yeah. That might be hard to do with this job, but we'll see. Yeah. Listen, if you've got nothing else to do... we got Jack Carson's up on the screen over there. Have a look at that.
Oh,
that is absolutely
that from
brilliant.
The fall, or is he making snow angels?
And if you're not doing anything 9 o'clock tomorrow night, you can come and join me on Alex Armstrong Tonight. We've got a very, very big show lined up for you, but a bigger show coming up next. Good afternoon, Britain, with Tom and Dawn.
Well, ice and snow covering much of the United Kingdom, but fire
And storms of other kinds covering Iran. We'll be covering both.
And we're also talking about why Muslim countries are refusing to send students to the UK in case they get radicalised here. What on earth is going on?
Well, we've got all of that to come and much more, including just how in trouble is your local pub. All to come after your latest weather forecast.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning, time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Not quite the calm after the storm. Storm Goretti is slowly clearing away, though, through the day today. Still pretty wet and pretty cold across parts of the east. Still a number of Met Office warnings remain in place for snow and ice and some heavy rain across parts of eastern England too. Feeling pretty grotty in these eastern areas where a mix of rain, sleet and snow will continue to fall, accompanied by a pretty chilly wind. A further covering snow possible in places. A few wintry showers coming into Wales, but generally things improving and calming down here. Many areas across northern England, central Scotland will be dry, but still pretty cold in most parts. Temperatures may get to 7 or 8 in the southwest. Across Scotland, temperatures getting a few degrees above freezing. Still a few wintry showers, but as I say, many places here will have a largely dry day. Not much to melt the snow that's still lying, however. Things turning clear and frosty across Northern Ireland quite quickly through this evening, so again could turn icy. Still a few wintry showers over the hills and mountains of Wales, and still pretty wet across these eastern counties of England. Really cold as the rain, sleet and snow continues to slowly pull away here during the evening. As it does so, everything could freeze up overnight, so a continued risk of ice on untreated surfaces. Generally clear skies, though, across this central slice of the country, allowing temperatures to dip down to freezing, certainly a few degrees below in rural spots, especially where there's snow lying on the ground. Now, for many, Saturday is an okay day, certainly the driest and brightest of this current spell. Not completely dry, still be some showers feeding into parts of Wales with snow on the hills and mountains. 1 or 2 showers still perhaps across eastern parts of England and northern Scotland. But for many, Saturday is going to be dry and bright. There'll be some sunshine, but still on the chilly side with temperatures in many places not much above 3 or 4 Celsius.